Greetings, fellow humans. My name is Flailbot. Welcome back to Banished. This is episode 4 of our Relaxathon. I realized that I made a small mistake in my Esperanto translation. It's actually not Nova Comensanto, which would be new beginner. It's Nova Comenzo, I think, which means new beginning. Or no one can Nova Comencen, Novai Comenzoi would be new beginnings. Yeah, so we got this. It's a work in progress. Welcome back. I'm still gravely disappointed in the performance of our fishermen, who are producing less than I expected them to. I'm wondering if it has to do with the fact that they have a lake instead of a river, because I'm pretty sure that the rivers produce more than 200 per person. Although admittedly, the coverage here is crazy good compared to, well, maybe similar to this. This is actually pretty limited, I suppose. We've only got maybe a third of the circle. And this must be similar. It feels like a lot less, but the production is almost identical, right? 434 for 2 people versus 200 for 1 person? That's a little bit silly. Well, they've already been invested and we have enough people, so for now they'll keep doing that. Let's just unpause so I can figure out what's going on again. Yeah, so excellent. Can I rename my city? No. I wonder if I build the town hall, if I can rebuild or rename my city. Alright. Our students are learning. This expansion, as it were, has gone off without a hitch. All 3 of our buildings, hunting cabin, herbalist, gatherers out doing their business. These guys over here, as I said earlier, without the market are going to be suffering in the long term, but there's just not anywhere to fit a market. I mean, at least not something that covers both sides of this river. I think here would be the only place, but I suspect that it wouldn't fit. Alternately, if I'm willing to give up some more of my trader coverage or forester coverage, I can put it up here. But again, that only covers these buildings and only covers about half of these, so it just doesn't really feel particularly like a great idea. I could, if I remove this road and moved it over, then I could hit something like this, which covers, it would be here, all but 2 of those houses. And it will also cover any houses I put over here. But it'd be a pretty significant portion of my forester's area. So I'm not sure if that's a good idea. Probably a good idea for the long-term health of my city. So what would I need to do? Well, like I said, long-term health. Let's leave it be for the time being. We'll build a road here for our little students to walk along. These guys are coming along nicely. They're going to take a couple of years before they start producing. That'll add another bit of variety to our diet, which is good. And our amount of stored medicine is 0 because our herbalist, where are you, herbalist, is collecting things, but they're being consumed ravenously by our population. So, I suppose it's time to build these other houses. And decide if we can build houses up here. No. Here? No. Here. Also not. Not even that close. 3 squares overlap here. It's not so great. But that's okay. We can squeeze in a bunch of houses over here, and they'll be in range of the market, which I have now decided we are going to build. not there, and not there, right there. Assuming the only thing in the way is roads. Now if I put this down, like I said, they'll clear the area, and then nothing will grow there, even if you choose not to continue the construction, if you pause the construction. Oh, this stockpile is very full. That's pretty good news. I have a lot of firewood. Let me sell some firewood. Firewood is a good sales item. Put 500 firewood in there. Actually, I'm going to take the venison out because it's one of our only meat sources, or it is our only meat source. And that's going to improve the health of our citizens by having meat as well as veggies. I think there are several categories. There's like meat, vegetables, grains, fruits, I think. So as long as you have some of all of them, then you're going to be doing well. And since that's our only meat, well, there you go. Can do a road down along here in order to... Oh, trader! Sweet glory. Can I build a road along here? Sweet. Excellent. And then I could build the road down yon hither and get me some trade posts going on. It's a long distance, but there's room over here to set up again. I know we talked about expanding this direction. It's just so hard to squeeze the trade posts into these tiny little rivers. There is nowhere to put it. I blame the mountains. Here, we could probably fill one in over here if we were lucky or creative. No, apparently not. There. That's theoretically a location. That feels a little silly. Let's remove that structure. That would be one. It's not that far. How far is it compared to, let's see, about a screen length vertically away from the other place? And this is also, I mean, that's about the same distance. And here we could squeeze in multitudinous, right? Bloop, bloop, boop. I mean, this would be trade post central. Would be good times. So we'll do that. We'll head downwards. We can also stretch up this way and produce things we need for citizenry up here, as opposed to producing like manufactured goods. Yeah. I kind of want to also build, where are you? A brewery. Because exporting alcohol is possible, and being a famous, world-renowned beer production town certainly would help us. I could squeeze a couple houses in here too. They are of course inside this radius, but house. Ooh. Hey, you know what? Why don't we go ahead and harvest that iron? And we are going to create a new storage spot over here. But can we make it 9 or 12? Or is there a better place for it? It's good enough for now. It can be useful to put stockpiles next to your trading post so that people come out and they can just immediately dump stuff into the trading post. But that is not currently a concern. So I'm going to fix this road because we're going to do the road removal for our market. I think it's about this big. So we'll lay down the commands and they'll get done eventually. I think I got all this pots I need. And we have some stone because we've harvested a bunch of it. Was there something else I wanted to do with this stone? Because I don't want to accidentally use all my stone before I need it. There was the tunnel that I was planning on building. Could also build a tunnel, which would be very silly. Here. Only 212 stone. Really wouldn't say. It would only say if people are like here and wanted to go right here at any time. Otherwise, they'll just wander around. And our road would eventually go somewhere like this. God, it looks so pretty. We could have another marketplace. Because there's not a lot of space on the other side, so we'd throw down the marketplace here somewhere in the middle. And then just houses everywhere and firewood makers and so on and so forth. So that's looking good. I guess we should just build these houses because we want to make sure that we have enough people. 2,000 food stored in spring is not bad. Our harvest from our fields is going to come in. Ooh, and harvest from our pecans are going to come in too. Town hall's not a great investment at this point, I feel like. It's 124 stone, which is crazy lots. And it's too much. So I think our next big project is moving southward. So I could build. I'm going to put this house down just as sort of a locational marker of where the edge of these harvest areas are. Oh, you know what, actually, no, that's pretty good. I can move it over a little bit. Because the hunting lodge is... The hunting lodge doesn't actually, like, hunt on the very edges, at least very rarely, because the animals will come close enough. I don't see any here, but they'll walk through the whole area and then they will be shot. So it doesn't matter that the hunting area doesn't cover. It doesn't matter that the very edges are not utilized in the hunting lodge. But something like the gatherer's hut will go to every little corner and pick all the food it can. It's the same thing for the forester lodge. It will cover every square and grab every single tree that they can manage. So that's our location for our edge, so to say. Oh, and our food reserve is low. That's terrible news. How are you guys producing? Yeah, pretty good. 480 for summer. And oh yeah, look at that. That's good. Maybe a few more berries and stuff would be nice, but still. 500, 600, 700, 800, 900-ish. And it's only summer. We're still the fall and winter, so that's going really well. I wonder if I should increase the amount of people who are working there. Oh yeah, definitely. Let's do that. There we go. This increases the total amount of workers who can possibly work, and this increases the total amount of workers who are in that profession. And if you do it in the wrong order, someone gets assigned to that profession but doesn't have a place to work. And until they do like a reassessment, they don't know what's going on. Let's go ahead and build the rest of these houses. It's important not to build too many houses too quickly, because you'll get a population spike and then a population collapse later. Okay, until here. Then we'll want to do, I think we'll want to do some like nice riverside houses here. And we will find my road. There it is. God, these guys are fast. Yeah, we'll just snake the road through there. Looks good to me. And then it'll go down along here, because that's nice. And then it'll come along the side of this. Little area. Okay. So we'll need jobs to do down here. Part of that's definitely going to be food, which I don't think I gather. I think we're going to do a gatherer's hut and stuff over here because this is good coverage. So forester, gatherer's hut, we'll do a bridge. And then most of this space we're going to put in housing, and let's see if we can, yeah, we can cover everything with a market. Flip the market over a little bit, that we can cover this side too. And this whole area here, but only on this side of the river so far, which is okay. So the market will potentially go, let's say, just smack dab in the middle, and we'll pause it as well because I don't really want to build it yet. And then we need food. Let's throw down a couple of orchards, because I like orchards personally. I think they look quite attractive. Do one orchard there, and then we'll do a space free or two and a crop field. Oh, that crop field is going to be awkwardly sized due to those mountains. Mountains, why are you all up in my grill? Okay, we'll do something else there, like firewood production or something. That's okay. Can we get a decent sized field over here? Oh, can we get one here? Nope. Can we get one here? 8 is not so great. Fine, we'll put them over in the corner here. Let's do a super huge one, 15 by 15. Or where do the houses need to be? Because if people live next to their fields, then they can work them straight from home. Crop field is too large. Oh, that's a good size. There we go. And I think, right, it overlaps the hunting cabin, not so much the gatherer's hut. Yeah, that's good. And eventually we can do this tunnel we've always been dreaming of. We'll pause as well. You could have some workers. You're going to be for pecans. These wooden houses are going to get built so people have something to do. Town services are going down in the form of a woodcutter. Or two. What's full? Log, stone, and iron. Right, of course, because of our little storage areas are so small. I want to connect this bridge to a road. I want to build a little storage area. Oh, this could be a decent sized storage area. 5 by 5 is not bad. What about over here? Yeah, that's alright. But we'll need a storage barn. Can we squeeze it in here? Oh, darn. Of course, we can squeeze in some houses. Let's get a storage barn. Yeah, let's find a fine location. And we'll need a tailor down here as well, who I also cannot squeeze in here, can I? Darn. It's okay though. This guy's gonna walk on the crops when he comes out of his house, but you know what? Life happens. Let's do pumpkins over here. We'll change this down to 3 people. And why do we have 13 workers? How many people does this field think it should have? stone of 300. That's great. 1, 2. You guys probably don't need 2 workers each, right? So now we have 11 of 13 farmers. Okay, we'll just make it 10. There we go. And we'll need more woodcutters when the time comes. And let's give ourselves a couple more builders to get things rolling. And before I forget, let's go ahead and sort of reserve some of the space for trading posts. Now I had in mind that I could fit in 3 on this corner. Is this true? 1, 2, 3. It's always good to push them out as far as you can onto the water, because the water is otherwise unused territory. I'm going to leave a single space between these 2 here, these guys, so that I can build a wooden bridge across, which I'll go ahead and throw down. In case you're wondering, wooden bridges do negatively impact the harvest rate of fishermen, since they count as space not available to be fished. So what kind of fisherman coverage can we get over here? This would be all bad because it's all covered by the docks. Not all of it. This is actually pretty decent right here, this sort of corner. But I'm assuming we can't squeeze someone in here. Almost could if we moved the other 2 places up by 1. Or by 2. That's okay though. We don't need to hyper optimize. Ooh, that's pretty decent. Alright, so we'll go there, and to avoid overlap, we'll go here, right? Yeah, minimal overlap. We'll go ahead and pause these because we don't have really people living here or anything yet. Need a couple more woodcutters. This is getting built. This is already being worked, which is great news. We have a bunch of stone because we sent all those people on those crazy missions. So I'm going to go ahead and build this tunnel. And then... what is this? The storage barn? Oh yeah, that's important. We still haven't thrown our tailor down, and we probably want a local blacksmith as well, just because you don't want the people from this market having to walk all the way over here, although it's not that far. So I'll consider. Or reconsider. Once we get rolling, we'll do things like build tunnels that go from here to here, just to be luxurious. Can't build a tunnel there, but here, yes. What we can do, hopefully, is get this tunnel over here built, and then people who really must, they can walk between these trees here, not destroying anything, and then go through the tunnel and also avoid this field. You'll notice here, we have trees here, which will grow just fine, and then there's like, how many squares is that actually? 2 squares? Yeah, so tree, and then a blank square, and a blank square, and a tree. Blank square, tree. Blank square. So this is a pretty suboptimal size for an orchard, because if I did it 1 square longer, then I'd have an entire additional row of trees. Or I could do 2 squares smaller, and I would have the same amount of trees. So that happens. I road over here. Oh, great. That guy's gonna have a super cosmopolitan, hyper accessible house. So these guys, when they're harvesting, are gonna have to walk over here to dump their stuff, which is not great. But we'll give them a road to make life easier. Boop, just like that. Unfortunately, your little peasants will often do things like this, where they take shortcuts that you can't actually build road on. And only if the road is faster will they go there. Which means sometimes you can end up with situations where you have a road, but people just walk a couple squares further. But if it's, yeah, you could build stone roads or something, and then they'll be even faster. Let's not throw down this market yet, actually. Did I completely miss that other trader? I bet I did. They just leave after a while. I probably had my order of stone too, didn't it? I was all distracted. Oh well. So this guy can't produce more because he's running out of logs, which is okay. We're doing a lot of expansion right now, so that's fine. One thing that I find funny about Banished is that you often end up in your early area being like very densely packed, and something that you'd expect to be like in the dead center of town, in a classic city like a town hall or a church, you simply don't have any space to put anymore because there's no, you've settled every single square inch. So depending on how keen you are on the aesthetic, you can demolish a bunch of buildings and say, okay, now I'm gonna put a church in the middle of town. But on mountains, right, because we're doing the map type mountains where we have a lot less buildable room, you get these like funny scattered communities, and I feel like there should be like a mini church or something, just like a prayer room, because the chapel handles 200 people, and I just don't have that many people within a reasonable radius. Alright, let's see what this guy's got to trade. He brought me stone. Hey, it's Unica. So here, see, look, we can trade 100 firewood for 50 stone. And that firewood cost us, I think it's 1 log per 2 firewood or something like this. Or maybe 1 to 1. I'm pretty sure it's not 1 to 1. And that means we're basically trading 50 logs or something for 50 stone, which is amazing because, yeah, producing 200 logs a year here, which is great. Along with no horrible risk of death as if we were doing a quarry. I should have done the coats, but actually we have a lot of coats now, so that's alright. Auto purchase is, yeah, I've used auto purchase before, but that's not something we're going to do this early on. We would like him to bring us tools and stone. Anything that's not reusable. I think that his total carrying capacity, dependent on our population, will be split amongst these 3 things, so we're not going to get a lot of them. But what we can do is repeat that order with basically every trader we come across, and then it should be enough. This guy literally only fished up enough to feed himself. These guys at least fed 2 people. Okay, so there was a huge difference in the efficacy of this. I think I'm just gonna toss this fishing place then. You're useless. Don't be worked. Reduce amount of people. Remove structure. Who died? Emileni the Gatherer. Yeah, alright. It happens. So next big move is gonna be that market. And probably our food gathering down here, so our people have a little bit more choice. The storage barn is really suboptimally placed, now that I think about it. It should be next to this giant field and any other food gathering that we're gonna do. But maybe it's okay. I'm gonna put another one over here because we're gonna have a gatherer forester adventure over here. And what can our market reach? Right, so this, I'm not sure what we'll use this for yet. We could probably reasonably use it for, I don't know, figure it out. If we tunnel here, this is kind of one big area. And of course over here we're gonna build houses and so on and so forth. So, let's get a I want this tunnel to be, or this bridge to be as straight as possible for this fisherman. Go ahead and allow the production of said fisherman, and we will give him a road. And this thing will get a road here too, just for thoroughness. And then we'll go ahead and also pull this wooden bridge because, or start to build it. Oh, our trading post is going up, I didn't even realize that. Because I'm going to want to get that other forester down. We're consuming a lot of wood. And we're going to be consuming a lot of wood once these people all start being born. Farmer, laborer, builder, builder. Hunter, farmer, builder, builder, builder. The people who work in this field, I'm assuming, live way far away. Yeah, that's pretty far. That's not so far. And then the third one? Citizen Emilith. Also not so far. So, like, we've got a an early freeze here. Yeah, it's 0 degrees. And 50% of this field's not harvested, which means this was a absolutely massive waste of everyone's time. The farmers are coming and they're trying their best, but we're going to go ahead and assign a 4th worker because that is a pretty big place. Oh, you know, they can also take the harvest up there. The tunnel's done. Look at that nice tunnel. So spooky. Good, 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 good. We'll build more houses over here because they'll need them eventually. But for now, I want us to get these bridges up and this fisherman up because that's another source of food. Autumn has come, which means our harvests are in and we have 3,000 food. That's not bad. More would be better. We will have more because we got rid of this silly fisherman. This guy we can get back, right? They were catching 200 per person, so we'll put another guy on there. And we'll put 3 people here, so another 3 people here, and that'll get us good amounts of fishies. Yeah, stones there, logs aren't there, stones are there, logs not there. So we know what we're waiting on. Logs are there, iron's there, the building is done. Super. My name is Flailbot. This has been Banished, episode 4 of our Relaxathon. Thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time in Novi Comensoi. And when we get there, we'll deal with this trading post. See you guys then.